mean, because my dad's in Vietnam. My mom's trying to sell real estate on the side. We got
Tragic Rick Harrison news has shocked admirers with the beloved pawn, the leader of the Stars who created an empire from family tales and historical artifacts, is currently battling a very personal. His world has been shattered by a calamity. This sometimes it's not about TV fame or the store. It is a loss that is deeply felt. Of his life for nearly 20 years, pawn, millions of people have been entertained by Star's distinct approach to presenting history. The early life the show is notable for changing every day. Exchanges into engrossing narratives that Rick Harrison is at the core of everything. The show's co-founder, and the pawn for the majority of his life, Rick putting forth a lot of effort to expand the company, but although his career has taken off, his personal life has encountered numerous difficulties, including a protracted court battle that rattled Richard is the entire name of his family. Harrison, Kevin. His birthday is March 22, 1965. To Richard Benjamin, the elderly Harrison was with Joanne Rue Harrison, the third of four siblings. Children Chris the Harrison and Sherry Joseph. The family resided in Lexington, North Carolina. Richard, their father, was frequently absent. Due to his service in the United States Navy, the family found the time away difficult. However, it was essential. Sherry, Rick's sister, was Down syndrome was born, and their father stayed in the Navy to meet her healthcare requirements were covered. Regrettably, Sherry died. This loss occurred when she was only 6 years old. Profoundly impacted their father, who subsequently claimed that Sherry was the reason I was happy. Rick was only there for a brief period of time. Sherry was a year old when she died, so he never had the opportunity to get to know her well. If losing her could have been too much for him, more than he could handle. By the time Rick, the family relocated to San Diego when he was 2. California, because of the transfer of his father maturing with the death of his sister, was challenging, particularly given how it impacted his. Rick's parents quickly became the center of his parents' interest. When he began at 8, he frequently has epileptic episodes, having to spend a lot of time in bed. During this period, he fell in love with reading. Rick loved reading tales of adventure and had a strong interest in history and physics, particularly the late Royal Navy 1700s and the early. When he was well enough in the 1800s, he went to San Diego's Taft Middle School. Naturally inquisitive, Rick had a good sense of business. He left Vegas High School to concentrate on earning money through selling phony Gucci purses and making up to. In April 1981, $22,000 per week was the Harrisons relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada. Following their real estate ventures, Rick's father opened a tiny 300-foot store on South Las Vegas Boulevard that sold used coins made of gold and silver. Rick was 17 years old at the time, and seemed stable until he and his Kim's girlfriend had to deal with a life-altering. Kim became pregnant, but regrettably the pregnancy came to an end in losing his first child due to miscarriage. Was Kim and Rick both experienced discomfort, loss, but this collective sorrow brought them nearer, and they made the decision to get married in 2 years, and they had a baby. Corey, their first child, and Adam, their second son, was born shortly after in 1983. However, following Adam's birth, Rick and for what reasons did Kim's relationship end? The reasons behind their breakup are still unknown. Rick struggled after the split for but when he met, things changed. Tracy and Rick had a blind double encounter. Date and 9 months following his breakup with Kim. After 6 months of dating, they moved. After 8 months of dating, they were married, and assumed the duty of bringing up Adam and Corey. By the time Rick was 23, he earned enough cash to join his father as a partner in his business. Rick's historical expertise and physics contributed to the shop's reputation. He would divulge in an intriguing information about every coin that makes them more appealing to clients while working. Rick also repossessed cars alongside his father at night, but when things got better, he gave up your night job to concentrate on the shop. 5 years later, the company relocated to a larger location on Fremont Street, but they lost their lease after 2 years, and Rick and his father had to relocate once more. Choose to use the store as a pawn shop, it seemed like the next sensible step. Nevertheless, a 1955 law in Las Vegas restricted the quantity of permits for pawns according to population estimates by the 1980s, the more than 200,000 people, and Rick was still growing when his father called. Pawn Stars, the weekly city statistician, to maintain on course and intended to apply for a job as soon as the population reaches in 1989, the city reached 250,000. The Harrisons still had to defeat a few legal barriers before they were able to obtain a pawn license in the same year. At last, the gold and silver were opened. 713 Las Vegas Boulevard is home to a pawn shop. Less than 2 miles to the south of the Los, Rick and his father first visited the Vegas Strip. Centered on marketing unique sports souvenirs and rare historical objects, but jewelry quickly rose to the top of their sales. Over time, their store became well known. By 2005, they were lending in Las Vegas, making hundreds of thousands of dollars annually among thousands who are interested. In the following year, the store gained recognition for its unique sports memorabilia with captivating backstories. The 2001 Super Bowl was one well-known item. An autographed football player's ring. Additionally, Williams, the shop, assisted gamblers who obtained money for gas by pawning goods, so the store might be driven home. Achievement attracted the interest of the History Channel, which resulted in the development of Pawn Stars. The concept of pawn among the stars were Brent Montgomery and Colby gets some unexpected shots in when they went to Las Vegas in 2008. They were captivated by the distinctive pawn shops that they observed. They discovered that these stores have fascinating tales and individuals, so they sought out a family-run business in a television program. They discovered the gold and the silver pawn store, which is only a few miles away from the Strip in Las Vegas. The store that Rick co-owns and runs possessed more than 10,000 objects and had even been featured in a PBS documentary in 2001. Rick had always desired a television program regarding his store. Colby and Brent first presented the concept to HBO, but HBO didn't accept it, like the initial concept, but they consented to allow them to edit. The show's format was modified to be more. It was first referred to as family-friendly pawning history, although it was subsequently changed to as a light-hearted twist on the phrase porn stars. As Pawn was being filmed, the business would close near the stars. Only a small number of approved customers are public. Were let inside while filming. The Harrison family gained a lot of popularity due to the fact that many fans adored the show and desired additional episodes, which was beneficial. The show develops and comes back season after season. Season after season, Pawn Stars rose to the top of the ratings. By January on the History Channel it received the second highest rating in 2011. Jersey Shore is a reality show that comes straight behind it. On June 7, 2011, Rick's book was published, Permit to Deal in Pawns, Thefts, and My Life. By June 26 that the gold and silver appeared in the New York Times at number 22 best-selling list. While 2011 was simultaneously Rick had a difficult year as he and his second Tracy's wife received divorced. In spite of the personal difficulties, Rick told Deanna he was engaged. The subsequent year, Deanna, like Rick, had also gone through a divorce. Prior to Rick's career taking off given the success of the show and its expanding fan base, his group, which includes Corey and Chumley, appeared as a guest as themselves in an episode of iCarly. I Lost My Head in a Call. Rick played in Vegas a few days later, a proprietor of an antique shop in a segment of the middle of that period, when Rick got married in Laguna Beach, California. Deanna Burton taking on the role of stepfather to her three daughters Marissa, Rick, and Serena. Tiana Turn became the spokesperson for the A men's shaving razor with a micro-touch item and made an appearance on a television January commercial for it a few months later, in 2014. The History United Stuff of America was introduced on the channel. A program created by Pond's designers. The show's stars highlighted important artist facts from significant historical activities. Another show, and the game show. The first time pornography appeared on the History Channel in July 2014, with Chum-Li and Rick Corey battling with other competitors to halt them from obtaining goods and money from the pawn shops for gold and silver inventory. Even though Rick was successful, he suffered hardships, some of which were depressing. He had no influence over the circumstances. One of the most difficult times were when he lost his father Richard, also referred to as the elderly man on June Pawn Stars in 2018. Rick shared the information with his 45,000 followers on Instagram and stated his Parkinson's disease claimed the father's life. Illness as a stand-in for the Harrisons verified Richard's death, making the same claim that Rick made a heartwarming post. A picture of his father wearing black suit glasses. He wrote Richard Benjamin with a fedora. The previous Harrison, a male, died this morning. With his loved ones by his side, he will be. Our family is greatly missed by the staff at the numerous admirers of gold and silver pawn. The History Channel worldwide further expressed their grief by releasing a declaration expressing our profound sadness due to our friend Richard's demise. The senior Harrison, a beloved member of the Pawn Stars family's history, and shall miss his insight and integrity. Our thoughts are with the Harrison family. In this trying moment, Rick said regarding the significance of his father to him, and how he molded his. Rick claimed that I was his hero in life. Fortunate to have a cool father like the. I'm glad I was able to share him, old man, with others who witnessed the wonderful family. He was a man who lived a long life, and he had an impact on individuals through Pawn Stars. He demonstrated the importance of family everywhere. Diligence. And Rick also thanked everyone for their laughter, their thoughtful remarks, and requested privacy throughout this difficult period. Rick shared an additional image of his father, he wrote, as a young man wearing a Navy uniform. I lost a buddy, a father, and a teacher today. And the elderly man lost a lot more. Lengthy battle this morning with Parkinson's. I love you, Dad. I'll see you later. The Harrison family was incredibly a pandemic. Rick was devastated by the loss. He now had to manage all of the obligations of taking care of the household, and managing the things got even more difficult when you had to shop alone. As soon as the COVID-19 pandemic struck, the pandemic of 2019 brought significant difficulties for Rick and had an impact on the business poorly. A lot of people were having financial difficulties, and it appeared such as pawn shops would prosper due to they offer fast money during difficult times. However, most pawn businesses didn't operate like this. But there was a momentary spike at the launch. Company swiftly ceased operations. In an interview with Fox News, Rick described how COVID-19 has an impact on the pawn shop industry. He claimed that the sector was having trouble. People were busy with their normal lives and recovering, and making fewer trips to pawn shops. When he had to close, things became worse. His store in March 2020, as cases of COVID-19 rose, the business's tourist division was closed for 30 days due to financial. Rick stayed, and services remained open. Dedicated to maintaining the company, he assured that he and the Gold Team's silver pawn shop would also be able to more difficult. In an interview with Rick of the local Las Vegas news station, stated interest rates on goods were reduced, and allowed individuals extra time to obtain their things back. I was aware of everyone's. I've been in this town for a long time, and I've gained a lot from it. Rick was optimistic and constantly tried to give back, and believed that the economy would recover. Roughly 6 months ago, but that didn't occur, As reported by the Daily Mail in 2020, the store that typically made over $1 million annually only made divorce. TMZ received court documents revealing $337,400. That Deanna and Rick had become estranged, and Rick claimed that they couldn't remain married. Preferences, opinions, and tastes were also distinct to work for a corporation. According to TMZ, it's possible that the divorce was overlooked due to the fact that it took place during the national. Rick told TMZ. George Floyd complains, "I produced 3 wonderful girls." Discussing Diana's children with her previous marriage, he clarified that he moved on after the mutually agreed divorce. His most recent Instagram updates reveal that he still has close ties to his stepdaughters. In a single August 7th post, "Father-daughter day off-roading" is what he wrote. Demonstrating their continued proximity, Rick frequently discusses the unique bond. His relationship with his stepdaughters is a positive aspect of everything. Despite all the during difficult times, his son Corey has been a reliable source of assistance. In 2022, Rick encountered more issues with his mother. Joanne Rue filed a lawsuit against him because the possession of the family's assets, and the Today's USA Gold and Silver pawn shop revealed that she brought a civil case. The case at Nevada State Court is called Jonas Lawsuit. Harrison Properties, Jorik's business, Rick Properties, as well as other defendants, their relationship was marred by financial concerns. Rick was charged by Joanne with violating in consent. She made it clear that she was married to Richard Harrison, an elderly man for over 60 years before passing away, and she inherited his 49% stake in the company in 2018. Joanne from the shop stated that in the early when she was in the hospital in the 2000s, and Rick had her when she had barely emerged from a coma. Signed documents relinquishing her 51% stake. She said she wasn't from the pawn shop, knowing exactly what she was signing at the moment. This circumstance depicted Rick and admirers who thought poorly of him, as the claims startled the Family Guy. Seems to have turned against his own mother for financial gain. Joanne claimed she had not been given accurate documentation regarding over $500,000 with money and silver that she thought prior to his passing. Richard also stated that Rick had halted her payments. Of her husband used to send $225,000. Joanne requested that the court return these payments, according to one article. Rick's 80-year-old mother had numerous health issues. Her treatment could cost up to monthly income of $155,000. Joanne even filed an order of temporary restraining to prevent Rick. This order from the sale of family assets would also keep Rick from relocating funds or lowering her portion of the family company. That she requested the court to place her assets in a trust that Rick couldn't manage. Fans' concerns that later on, Rick's money might be in jeopardy. Addressed these allegations by stating that the charges are untrue, and "I think my mother, who is 81, is being impacted by others," which he disclosed he only discovered regarding the restraining order issued by news headlines. "I've attempted to get in touch with her numerous times in the previous months, but couldn't get through to her." Rick. He further mentioned that one of the businesses his mother was the owner of the lawsuit. Family conflicts persisted until 2024. When Rick Harrison had his biggest setback. Adams's passing at the age of 39. His son Adam died in a public. Clark County Information Officer Nevada verified that Adam's demise was brought on by fentanyl overdose combined with methamphetamine at Clark County Medical Association. His death was declared by the examiner's office as unintentional. Worries surfaced when Adam hadn't been spotted, according to the neighbor. Beginning on January 17th and ending on January 19th, Adam was discovered to be unresponsive by his landlord, and dialed Rick, the police officer. Declared Adam's passing with a sincere. He uploaded a picture of them to Instagram. At a cafe together and wrote, "I adore you, and you'll always be in my heart." Adam was followed by an emoji of a crushed heart. Family spokesperson on January 26, Laura Urbage, verified the reason for. She said that "we died from a fentanyl overdose. Are so sorry for Adam's loss. As we grieve, kindly respect our privacy. This loss. Rick issued a statement as well, emphasizing the gravity of he called for a national mental health crisis. That more attention be paid to this matter in order to shield other families from comparable sadness. Following Rick's homage, numerous friends and supporters offered their greetings. Donald Trump Jr. expressed his condolences by merely saying, "Man, Adam's older brother, I'm so sorry." Politics. Additionally, Corey shared a picture of I'll post them on his Instagram. "I will always love you, Bubba, even if Adam wasn't someone he knew on Pawn Stars." Served as a gold and silver pawn employee for a while before selecting an alternative. Corey's journey and eventual career as a plumber emphasized Adam's lack of interest. The loss left a mark on the appearance on the show. Profound effect on Rick and the whole. It served as a reminder of the genuine and terrible consequences of the opiate epidemic impacting a great many. Despite all the Rick's prominence and success had grown over the years, of sorrow over his son's passing was overpowering. In spite of all the difficult moments after loss, Rick maintains optimism and continues to his attention to his task. He doesn't allow his suffering manifests, and finds solace in remaining busy in addition to managing his pawn store. And Rick has also expressed interest in being on TV. In the 2020 election, he backed Donald Trump, supported Daniel Lamont for president, Rodimer for the third place Nevada. Rick even considered running for Congress regarding a bid to become governor of Nevada, and he said he might run for the 2022 the U.S. Senate in 2024, stating that there are many partygoers have discussed it with me, and I haven't made up my mind yet, but in November, I'm keeping my options open. In 2023, Rick achieved yet another milestone. Designated as a colonel from Kentucky during a Pawn Stars spin-off episode that was partially shot at Locust Grove. Title is the greatest accolade bestowed by Rick, the governor of Kentucky. Personally. Additionally, life is improving. Love life is seeing a Las Vegas nurse named Angie Pushkin. Vegas is a symbol of resentment. Verified their connection to individuals, and Rick stated that I had known Angie for 6 months. She works in Las Vegas as a nurse, and we've spent the last few years in Europe. Rick celebrated her birthday for weeks. Posted pictures from their journey, including an elegant Parisian night out showcasing their expanding partnership. Angie isn't the mother of Rick's kids and is a lot younger than him, yet they appear content. Enduring all the highs and lows together, Rick continues to advance his narrative. Demonstrates how someone can remain resilient even when they encounter obstacles in life despite personal bereavement and business difficulties. Considering family matters, Rick manages to rebuild and concentrate.